Welcome to Drawing Attention, a show where we draw attention to the little things that make up screen entertainment and the ways we experience it. I'm Benjamin Zaugg, and today I'm joined by two writers. First up we have John. John McGeachin has been writing comedy in Brisbane for the past 10 years, working on everything from sitcoms to online blogs to filthy limericks. And we also have Luke. Luke Tierney is a writer and director who has an interest in asking hypothetical questions and watching people miss the bus. Guys, thanks for joining me, and thank you for writing such lovely introductions for me.
It's true.
Hi, Luke.
I love watching people miss the bus. I'm good, Ben. How you doing? Thanks for having us here.
Good.
Yeah, thanks.
So you're both doing really well.
We are. We're healthy.
Which is the most any writer can really ask.
That's right.
Today, I want to talk about baddies.
Yeah.
Not just baddies broadly, but baddies that you feel sorry for. And that certain way that you feel sorry for bad guys in films and TV that makes you feel a little bit ethically uncertain about yourself or uncomfortable. Because I think that's a really interesting kind of vibe. What do you guys think of bad guys? Do you have a favorite?
I love bad guys, you know. It's always that thing that, you know, they say that the best way to write a villain is that he doesn't think he's the villain. He thinks he's the hero of his own story. And any time there's a character in a film who you love to watch being bad, it's because by their own twisted internal logic, everything they're doing is for the greater good.
Yeah. I think that what I most like about villains, we all have dark thoughts and we all have we've all felt, bad things before. So it's a way of reassuring you that's okay. You're not the only one in the world who has these bad thoughts, or, at least you're not acting on them. It's also like, God, I guess I'm not that bad. So imagine being that guy. There's something in that, I think, that really is a comfort thing.
There's lots of different modes of villain as well. I mean, you take something like Breaking Bad, wildly successful TV show. You get this evolution over the course of whatever it was, 7 seasons, where, this character of Walter White goes from being somebody you're like, yeah, I really want him to escape his horrible life and, I want him to be a drug kingpin. But then as it goes on, that fascination slowly shifts to the point where it's, oh man, he's incredibly horrible. He's doing really horrible things all the time. As an audience member, you really start to, you see that disconnect between like, oh yeah, if I was a drug kingpin, this is how I'd run my empire, to the point where like, man, this guy's awful.
Yeah.
Well, I had a feeling that eventually Breaking Bad would come up, and it's certainly a really good example of what we're talking about. Another franchise or character I had in mind was Hannibal Lecter.
Definitely.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got the least amount of screen time, but he won an Academy Award for whatever it was, 12 minutes of screen time, just because he's such a commanding presence. You somehow as an audience member want the sadistic, amoral cannibal to escape and run away to Venice to eat somebody.
How's your Hello, Clarice?
John's a good impressionist.
Hello, Clarice.
Very good.
It's not bad.
I'll try it as now. Okay. Hello, Clarice. Like, that's how it's not even. It's funny though. Like, I think another thing with that character and why people love him so much, it's not just an example of a great villain, but just a great character, which is that there's a contradiction in there, and that's what I think. Those contradictions are always what make characters really jump and pop out of the screen. Like, he's a gentleman and he's like smart, he's charming, but he's a cannibal, and that's like, that's why they say that. Not that I know anything about Shakespeare at all. But the one thing about Shakespeare I could say, from what I've listened to other smart people say, is that Hamlet is so full of contradictions, and that's what's made him such an enduring character.
Like that scene where he eats his father.
That's right. That was the scene that was only just discovered. There was the controversial scene where it was revealed that Hamlet was actually at a buffet.
Hamlet was really ahead of its time.
Yeah, so character contradictions, that's something that's definitely, don't they say that characters who were really good at something are also like, these, like Walter White or Tony Soprano, like they're really good at a very specific thing and they're smart, and that's how they get away with being so bad, because there's something that they're very good at, and there's something to be admired in that, I suppose, from an audience point of view.
A person can be bad, and we'll give them some credit no matter what, as long as they're quite talented.
I think so. You need something to connect with, I suppose.
So just to bring something a little bit more current into the mix, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Who isn't at least partially a bad guy in Game of Thrones?
Exactly. It's a real world of, like, not even grey, just more like a sort of dark charcoal. Everyone there has some sort of mark against them, to the point where you got that whole thing where, by season 2, the character of Jaime Lannister, everyone's, he's on this great redemptive arc, and he's much better now, and he's learned lessons on his road. And there's a character that literally threw an 8-year-old boy out a window in the first episode. Like in any other show, it's hard to come back from that. Remember that episode where Friends, where Chandler threw a boy out the window?
Oh, Monica.
Could I be any more about to kill you?
He was never the same after that.
Yeah, that was a very unpopular episode. But speaking of Friends, from comedy genre, like Seinfeld, a show like that, which was wildly popular, and all the characters are pretty bad.
Yeah, and you get more shows now, like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia or Workaholics, which are still spin-offs of that, bad people acting badly, and you tune in to laugh at the depths of their depravity.
People always criticize Seinfeld, well, some people did, for saying that it didn't have much heart, but I feel like it had a lot of humanity in a weird way.
It's interesting, and I think that's what separated it out, because there is a lot of joy to be taken in watching people acting badly. I mean, I think this is why all the top-selling video games are sort of hack and slash stealing car type stuff, because it's fun to experience things that you can't experience in real life in a safe, consequence-free environment.
Exactly.
It's why people are going on roller coasters, because it's a chance to experience fear and adrenaline and risk and
being close to death.
Yeah, you can have all of these things in a safe environment. I think going to the cinema or watching TV and seeing a character who's amoral and says the things you can't say and does the things you can't do.
Definitely.
It's a cathartic
wish
release
fulfillment sort of stuff.
in a lot of ways.
But also, I feel like there is comfort to be taken in seeing bad people doing bad things, because we think bad things from time to time, and maybe we even do bad things from time to time, but it can make you feel like, for thinking something bad, like, wow, I must be a bad person, even though that's not, it's just part of being a human being. So I think when you see bad people, there is something comforting about it, just like a reminder that you're not alone, or whatever, which is, I guess, what all that stuff's.
I feel like you're
best, that's what it does.
confessing to a murder.
Yeah.
This is going to be used as evidence in my trial.
I was going to say that the last film I saw that really was like the pinnacle of this feeling for me was Nightcrawler, which is so good.
That was great. That was a great film.
And
And that was one of those things where, somehow you were just on board with him.
in his world, he's a hero. We can sort of put our unease aside.
But he falls into that, going back to something like Taxi Driver, which is the sort of king of those sort of movies where you have a character who by the end of the film goes on, a blood-soaked rampage, but then because he's killed the right people, society gives him a pass and everything's okay. And you as an audience member, yes, he's just murdered a bunch of pimps and drug dealers and saved a young Jodie Foster, but then he gets back in the cab at the end and you see him looking in the rearview mirror, and the suggestion is that oh wait, maybe he's not just a hero who needed a cathartic victory. Maybe there is something deeply wrong with this person.
There was this great review of Taxi Driver written by Roger Ebert where he says the ending doesn't make sense from a plot point of view, but it's an emotionally satisfying ending. I don't know. He's a much more articulate man than I am, but there's something in that. I don't know. I just killed that.
No, you did. You did kill it. But that's probably the time to kill it anyway. Thank you guys for talking to me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
It's good to get the old body out every now and then, Often I spend so long in the attic staring out at people. I actually live in John's attic because I'm a skeleton man.
Well, live is a broad way of putting it.
Yeah, I exist.
Yeah, you endure.